Good evening. Welcome to Thai PBS English News Service. Tonight you're with me, Rungtip Chonapalai. The flood situation in the north is not yet under control as 100 large sand barriers were unable to prevent water from flooding government offices in Suthep province. While the water level continues to rise, the Prime Minister did not indicate she thought Bangkok City will be inundated this year. Soldiers had to bring boats to help vendors in the local market in Suthep rescue their belongings from the floods. Areas along the Yom River, including business districts and governmental offices, are underwater despite having a concrete wall along the river banks. The waters got in under the cement wall. Some 100 large-sized sand barriers, or what Thai would call big bags, could not hold back the water. Locals are hoarding water, canned food and candles. Meanwhile, in Phichit province, water from the mountains has already flooded 50 houses and more is expected tonight. Residents are worried about their fish farms. Also, 7 districts of Lampang province have been declared flood disaster zones. This will make it easier for the local administration to allocate budgets to help victims. Some schools in the north are already closed due to the floods. A part of the railway track near the Khuntan Mountains has been impassable since the current washed away soil and rocks under the tracks. Heavy machinery was brought in to repair the section and is now passable. Yet the State Railway of Thailand warns of more spots at risk along the tracks, which are vulnerable to strong currents. Thirachon Manomai Pibun, Deputy Bangkok Governor, is now asking the government's Water Resources Administration unit to follow His Majesty the King's suggestion and divert the flow before it reaches Bangkok, rather than using the Sansap Canal to draw water through the heart of the city. The deputy governors insist the government must look at water management of the central region as a big picture and not let politics interfere with water management during the flood crisis. Meanwhile, Prime Minister Yingluck Shinawatra did not make any commitment that Bangkok will not be flooded. Today, the Prime Minister was approached by Nonthaburi residents who claimed they have not received any compensation since last year's floods. Following the death of Pawana Chanachit, a famous 69-year-old Thai actress, police officers are intensifying the investigation. Meanwhile, the actress' family suspect that she was murdered.
好吧，下一个节目全赛。
Early this morning, 69-year-old famous Thai actress Pawana Chanachit or Arunyaporn Laosangthong died after fell into a well at her residence in Nakhon Chai-si sub-district of the Nakhon Pathom province. Police officers have been interviewing the 55-year-old boyfriend, Nattapong Luang Silikun. He's a boyfriend of the actress. Initially, Nattapong revealed that it might be the case that the actress fainted and fell into the well, as Pawana often paid respects to the spirits in that area of the house. Meanwhile, Hataya Laosangthong, younger sister of the actress, has asked police to speed up the investigation process as she believes that Pawana was actually murdered. She points out that Pawana was really wealthy as a result of her successful property business. According to a source close to the family, Pawana lived with her boyfriend and 2 housekeepers. Around that time of the incident, the housekeeper called the actress' adopted child, which displeased Pawana's boyfriend. He then asked everyone to stay out of the house. However, the actress' relatives do not believe that Pawana accidentally fell into the well, as some of the land title deeds in the house are missing. Pawana Chanachit was named as the Pearl of Asia and received many awards. The actors whom she performed with included Mitchai Bancha, Chaya Suriyan, Sombat Methani, Yochai Mek Suwan, Luchai Nalunat, Uthen Bunyong, Krung Si Vilai, Saurapong Chatri, as well as David Chiang, the famous Hong Kong actor. Democrat MP Suthep admitted that he is aware that some outsiders are lobbying the Senate to retroactively remove him from the Deputy Prime Minister post, but insisted that he still believes in the Senate's adjudication process, which is immune to outsiders' influence. Kamnun Sithisaman, an appointed senator, rejected rumor that he has been lobbied and urged his fellow senators to uphold the legal framework in their opinions to avoid being linked to politics. A rumor has it that a former Thai executive and member of the House number 111 lobbied some senators to retroactively remove Suthep from the Deputy Prime Minister post when the Democrat Party was during the government. Appointed Senator Kamnun Sithisaman, however, denied that he has been lobbied and believes that every member of the Senate possesses good judgment. Still, he insisted that senators have to act cautiously from now on to avoid being linked to politics. Suthep, on the other hand, admitted that he has heard the rumor but remains confident in the senators' independence. The retroactive removal of Suthep from the Deputy Prime Minister post has been placed on the Senate's meeting agenda for tomorrow, and Suthep said he is ready to testify on every point at tomorrow's Senate hearing. Earlier, the National Anti-Corruption Commission petitioned the Senate to strip Suthep of his post and ban him from politics for 5 years for allegedly interfering in the work of the Culture Ministry while he is serving as a Deputy Prime Minister under the previous Democrat-led government. The Senate will take a vote on September 18th, and according to Section 274 of the Constitution, a vote by at least 3/5 of serving senators is needed to remove a person from a political post. After the pro-Thai government's completion of its first year in office, their energy policy has been widely criticized. Earlier, I talked to Professor Araya Pricha Mehta from the Faculty of Economics at Thammasat University, who stressed that the subsidy policy has to be changed and the government has to plan to help low-income earners who may be affected by rising energy prices.
Energy price structure has to be reformed, and right now might be the good time to do that because the pressure from the world economy is not very strong from now on to at least next year. So from the demand side, right, I think that inflation problem will not be a big issue. So it might be a good time for the government to think about to implement this reforming of energy price structure.
Okay, so if we were to reform the energy structure of the policy, where do you think that we need to reform most?
Okay, stop capping the price of diesel at the 30 baht per liter. Okay, because by doing that we have to use tax or money from other type of fuel to subsidize that policy, and it's going to generate some incentive for the user of diesel to use diesel not efficiently. That is the one thing. The other thing is that we have to allow the LPG price to freely adjust it according to the market price, because right now oil fund has been subsidized this LPG for so many years, and this is major cause that cause the oil fund to be deficit, right? So to do that, we need to allow LPG price both in the industrial sector and the household sector to be freely adjusted. But at the same time, we also need to have some relief measure to help those people that have very low income. Otherwise they will not be able to survive. Survive out of this policy. Okay. Right? But the subsidy that we give to the low-income people will be much smaller compared to the money that we have already spent for
right now. Emerging East Asia local currency bond markets have expanded to nearly $6 trillion, but policymakers in the region should brace themselves for further shock and volatility from the global financial markets, according to a report published by the Asian Development Bank, or ADB.
Yuan J. Assis, head of ADB's Office of Regional Economic Integration, which produced the Asia Bond Monitor report, says that Asia's local currency bond markets are emerging as a safe haven in the midst of the crisis, but that the region should not be complacent. A special section in the Asia Bond Monitor assessing the performance of the local bond markets of the People's Republic of China, Indonesia, the Republic of Korea, Malaysia, the Philippines, and Thailand shows that the spillover of the Lehman Brothers collapse and the ongoing Eurozone crisis in many markets has been significant and may well continue. These spillover impacts will be felt not only in the bond markets but in other financial markets in the region too, including through foreign exchange rates. The Asia Bond Monitor notes that, despite the uncertainty and volatility in global financial markets, the bond markets in the region continue to expand, with $5.9 trillion in paper outstanding at the end of June, 1.9% more than at the end of March, and 8.6% more than at the end of June 2011. Overall, corporate bond market growth is still outpacing the expansion of the government bond markets, as corporate bond yields have fallen and tighter bank lending has encouraged firms to tap the capital markets. As of the end of June, there were $2 trillion in corporate bonds outstanding, 15.2% higher than a year earlier, while the $3.9 trillion government bond market was only 5.5% bigger. Bond yields in many markets like the PRC, Indonesia, and Vietnam started to edge up in July and August after having fallen in the first half of the year, reflecting growing uncertainty in the global economy. The risks to the markets are growing. Those risks include worsening investor sentiment as global economic outlook dims, volatile capital flows, and excessive government bond sales to finance stimulus measures.
Under a court order, police searched an apartment in Thai Thani village of Pathum Thani province and found 6 tigers being reared on the terrace, which constitutes a clear violation of the Wildlife Protection Act of 1992. 6 Bengal tigers were found being reared on the terrace of an apartment in Thai Thani village of Pathum Thani province. Police from the National Resources and Environmental Crime Suppression Division executing a court order searched the residence and discovered the tigers being kept in metal cages, including a 7-year-old male breeding tiger, a 6-year-old female, and 4 other male and female cubs aged between 9 months and 3 years. Surasak Buntiantong, the owner of the 6 Bengal tigers, said he has been breeding the animals since 2003 as a hobby and does not sell the cubs. Police Major General Bhawan Sak Hemnithi of the National Resources and Environmental Crime Suppression Division revealed that today's arrest was the result of information gathered after a previous arrest of illegal animal traders. A study shows that there has been an increase in the number of tigers being sold to foreign countries. The price of a 2-year-old tiger ranges between 600,000 and 1 million baht. The bones of a tiger weighed around 60 kilograms. Each kilogram costs 30,000 to 50,000 baht. Other tiger organs are then sold to Chinese merchants to be made into medicines. Breeding tigers in Thailand, however, is against the laws, violating the Wildlife Protection Act of 1992. Today, the self-exiled opposition leader from Cambodia, Sam Rainsy, urged leaders around the world to pressure Cambodia to hold free and fair elections next year. Rainsy visited Manila to launch an international network of parliamentarians campaigning for the democratization of the Southeast Asian nation.
Rainsy said that if there is no democratic election, there will be violence. At least democratic elections will help channel this popular dissent. The Sam Rainsy party has merged with Cambodia's Human Rights Party to form a united opposition that seeks to promote reforms in the authoritarian government. Cambodia Prime Minister Hun Sen, who came to power in 1985, is one of the world's longest-serving leaders. Critics say Hun Sen is a ruthless leader who has intimidated his opponents into submission or frightened them out of the country, while supporters credit him for rebuilding a failed state and presiding over unprecedented economic growth. Philippine Senator Franklin Drilon, who heads the International Parliamentary Committee for Democratic Elections in Cambodia, which was launched on Monday, said the group will work to raise awareness of Cambodia's political conditions and increase pressure on the government to reform and hold free and fair elections.
We can generate awareness of what is happening in Cambodia, and by generating awareness, we hope that reforms can be instituted.
The United Nations has voiced concern about the administration of elections in Cambodia and urged reforms in a report issued last August. Hun Sen's Cambodian People's Party, or CPP, claimed 72% of the seats in local elections last June, which Rainsy called, quote, manipulated due to restricted voter lists. Rainsy, who has been living in self-exile in France for 7 years to avoid arrest, said he will return home in time for parliamentary elections next July. He fled Cambodia after being sentenced to 12 years for forgery and destruction of property, among other crimes, but claims the charges against him are politically motivated, but risks arrest if he returns to the country. Hugh Adams, Thai PBS.
Thank you, Kun Hugh, and that wraps up tonight's edition of Thai PBS English News Service. Thank you for watching. I'm Rung Tip Chonapalai. Have a good night. สวัสดีค่ะ